Greetings, World of Kofe here. It is August 9th, 2021, 6:58 a.m. And I just completed happily the most that I've ever sun gazed, which was about 30 minutes. I'm getting there. But my message today, for me, really, and for anyone else that this may help, I realized as I was gazing, there's so much information that we receive from the sun. It's constant. So much information that we're receiving from the planets, the moon, from the earth, celestial and terrestrial. But it's a paradox because not only are we receiving information from the celestial and terrestrial bodies, but which is a constant flow, but we're also receiving information, or we also have received information at the moment of our birth. That is the foundation. That is the beginning. That is what we are supposed to go back to. That is the launching pad. And so that in and of itself is the paradox, that we cannot be too dependent upon the time cycles that the sun and the planets and the moon and all of these things govern. But we also cannot be solely dependent on the programming of our foundational birth chart, or birth design, I should say. That is the beginning, but the sun is constantly informing the centers within ourselves, right? The centers within ourselves take in this information. When I say centers, I mean human design, aka chakras, right? Take in this information. They compute it. They process this information. And the body is given signals as to where to move, where to go. Right? And so when we try to use the mind, which thinks it is in control of this body, which thinks that it's in control of this reality, but it is not making decisions based off of the programming that is being received from the time cycles. It's not making decisions based off of what is going on around us. It's not making decisions based off of the senses. The senses which are also governed by the centers. And so in our movement through reality, in our movement along our line of destiny, along our fractal line, we are given the ability to move precisely towards our destiny, precisely towards where we're supposed to go, what we're supposed to do, the thing that brings the most relaxation for the body, the things that brings the most satisfaction for the body, the things that brings the most peace for the body, the things that bring the most success and surprise for the body. And yet, when we use that mind, we find ourselves deterring from the path. We find ourselves deterring from where we're supposed to go. And then we wonder why we are so far off from our destiny, because we're using this. This is not the governor. It is not the governor. And I know this message is oversaid in some circles, but I have to say it all over again in this way. You cannot be led by the stars if we're not led by the body. The body knows the stars. The earth, which is the body, knows the stars. The earth is in constant communication with the sun. It's in constant communication with Sirius and Dubhe and Alcyone and all of these heavenly bodies that are the fundamental programmers of this reality. The earth is in constant communication. That's what allows the earth to be able to mutate and change and shift and quake and all of the things that it does to replenish itself and constantly be able to live for almost 15 billion years. Why do you think the earth has lived so long? Is because it follows its design. And when you know that your body is the earth and you follow that because it's being informed by the stars, by the planets, by the programming bodies or the apps, I should say. When you know that, there is no other decision to make but to follow the body. We are not that smart. The mind is used for creativity. But then again, it is not. The mind is a measuring tool. The body creates. The earth creates. The mind is used to fix things, measure things, figure things out, but it's not meant to make decisions. It's not, it's illusory because it is operating outside of its own design. So to give the total credence of the way we live to the mind, this is not a good thing. The mind will deceive you. The mind and the constant thought is what makes your breath shallow. It's what makes you move fast. It's what makes you tense. But when you're tense, when you breathe shallow, when you move fast, you're putting pressure on the body. Pressure on the body. You have so many breaths to live in this life. Breathe them too fast, you die faster. Tense up the body, you remove the flow from the body. You create blockages in your energy with the tension. And the blockages stop the flow of energy, the flow of chi, the flow of prana. So you have to slow down and allow yourself to be an ant. Allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to exist. Allow yourself to live truthfully within yourself. What is the truth that exists in you today, in this moment? I know for an emotional solar plexus design, there is no truth in the now. However, it is important to be in the now in order to feel the emotions that you feel in this moment. Find the clarity in them and feel the emotions that you need to feel in the next moment. Find the clarity in them, and eventually you'll find the clarity that exists in the balance. So it's still all about the now. It's all about the now. It's all about the now. It's all about the now.